success is obviously is not an accident. Strain every nerve and crack the civil services examination. At the end, they will become civil servants and they will do better than officers like me. She appeared. She cracked. She not only cracked, in fact, she topped the civil service examination. She stood first. The IAS gives you enormous power. It gives you enormous courage. And Veranda IAS is ready to play a role to guide at this point of time.
Veranda IAS, where your dream becomes reality.
Hello everyone, welcome to the daily current affair analysis from Veranda IAS. Today we are going to see some of the important current affair topic from the day of 7th of July 2023. Moving on to the topics of the day. So as usual, we'll be discussing some questions from Prelims 2023, and after that question discussion we'll be going on to the editorial analysis from the Hindu today, that is India needs a uniform civil code which can be moved to Indian society, and the next topic will be India and US navies participated in the Salvage and explosive ordnance disposal or the EOD exercise to boost interoperability, which can be mapped to GS3 defense security, and also World Investment Report 2023 which can be mapped to GS3 economy, and GMAX 2023 which can be mapped to GS3 defense security once again. Okay, so please make a note of it. Okay, moving on to the prelims question discussion. So consider the following options: aerosols, foam agents, fire retardants, and lubricants in the making of how many of the above are hydrofluorocarbons used, or HFCs, which is the question asked from environment. Only one, only two, all three, or all four is the options given. So what is the right answer? In which among the following is that HFC is used? So the right answer is all four. So here you should understand that these HFCs are wholly synthetic kind of a metal with minor uses as solvents and fire protection. They are primarily produced for use in air conditioning as well as in insulation, foams, and also aerosol propellants. So these hydrophilic fluids of the HFC types are water glycol fluids. They have about a 40 to 45% water content, and in order to satisfy the customer demands for lubrication, fire resistance, and also biodegradability, the Condat offers Condat Guard C46, which has a formulation that has been specially tailored to do so. So what is this Condat Guard C46? So it is a low flammability hydraulic fluid of the HFC water glycol type, guaranteeing optimum protection and lubricants. So definitely here you should understand that HFCs are present in all these four options that is available also. Then moving on to the editorial analysis that with the title India needs a uniform civil code, which is written by our former Vice President of India, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu. So he is saying that India needs a uniform civil code, especially since the uniform civil code is a topic of great highlight, especially in India. Here you should understand that as a civil servant, we should be able to understand or critically analyze about one particular topic. What are the challenges posed to the minorities for this kind of uniform civil code being implemented? At the same time, being the being the bureaucrats, being the aspiring civil servants, we should definitely be able to understand how the government justifies about it. So this article clearly gives a very good explanation on the pros or the positive side of the side of the government from what is the kind of explanation given by the government on the implementation of uniform civil code. So here, the writer said that India definitely is a very diverse nation and is home to many religions with different personal laws in marriage, divorce, adoption, inheritance, and also succession. And also it is very much accurate to say that is what the author says, that the absence of a uniform civil code has only served to perpetuate inequality. So the author says that without the uniform civil code, a lot of inequalities and inconsistencies did existed in our country with a lot of diversity. In fact, this has been a hindrance in the nation's progress and also towards social harmony, economic and gender justice. So the author is trying to establish here that without a uniform civil code, with the country with highest amount of diversities, it was very, very difficult for us to have a holistic development because of these varying laws for each of the sections of the society. So let us see about the presence of uniform civil code in the Constituent Assembly. That is, we are going to check the historical background of it. So the debate on UCC goes back to the Constituent Assembly, wherein the debates, if you analyze it, shed light on the need and the objective behind promoting the Uniform Civil Code. Here, Baba Sahib Ambedkar, who is considered as the chief architect of the Constitution, he made a very strong case in the Constituent Assembly for framing a UCC, that is Uniform Civil Code. And also he very much stressed the importance of Uniform Civil Code in ensuring gender equality and also eradicating the prevailing social evils also. So since a consensus on UCC should be reached in the Constituent Assembly, the subject found a place under Article 44 of the DPSP, Directive Principle of State Policy. That is, in order to have a welfare state, this kind of a uniform civil code, that is to have a unity in diversity, to implement the Uniform Civil Code is a must. So like in order to reach a consensus, like it was added in the according to the Article 44 or in the DPSP. So it is a constitutional mandate which requires the state to enact the UCC that applies to all citizens cutting across faith, practices and personal laws. So apart from the faiths, practices and the personal laws, we must have a common laws in order to foster the holistic development of the society as a whole. So the apex court score, let us see what the Supreme Court says. So it will be also pertinent to point out here that Supreme Court had dwelt to the motor on this particular matter on more than one occasion. So the top court or the Supreme Court have observed in the Shabano case that it is a matter of regret that Article 44 has remained a dead letter, even though it has been said or prescribed in the Constitution in the DPSP that it must be implemented in order for us to have a welfare state, but it is remaining as a dead letter in the Constitution. Not only that, the court had pointed out that UCC would help the cause of national integration. Since we have a lot of diversity, this kind of a common law would definitely help in our national integration. However, in spite of articulating its views clearly on this particular subject, in many cases, the Supreme Court refrained from issuing any clear directive to the government, being mindful of the fact that framing of laws falls within the exclusive domain of the parliament. So definitely we can see that this kind of a tussle between judiciary and executives is always there, and also the legislature, because judiciary can definitely give this kind of recommendation, but it is completely under the exclusive domain of the parliament to frame such laws with respect to UCC. Now let us see the essence of UCC. So, the author says that it is a step in the right direction, long overdue, to safeguard the fundamental rights of the citizens and also to reduce the social inequalities and also gender discrimination which existed in the society. And also he is requesting the society to see it as an attempt to create a unified legal framework which can uphold the principles enshrined in the Constitution and which is reaffirmed by the Supreme Court judgments. So, like he is saying that there are a lot of doubts that is there in the minds of opposition parties, right? So, these kinds of doubts in the minds of opposition stemming from unfounded apprehension need to be addressed through enlightened debate and also through constructive engagement. So the author is inviting opposition for having enlightened debate and also to have some constructive engagement rather than bluntly opposing anything which was brought by the government. It will serve as a powerful instrument for promotion of equality and justice for all citizens, and in this light, every citizen should welcome it. It is what the author says. So, UCC would eliminate discriminatory practices that deprive women of their rights and provide them with equal opportunities and protection. So, we also seen even from the minority community, the women from the minority communities have come up like to the forefront in the society through social media, saying that they are willing to or they are ready to welcome the UCC because a lot of atrocities that they are facing inside their homes or within the four walls within the particular society, they will be able to free from all these injustices towards or the atrocities that they are facing within their homes if UCC is being proclaimed. So a diverse society calls for a unified legal framework to foster social cohesion and national integration, and personal law should have two-dimensional acceptance. That means they should be constitutionally compliant. At the same time, it should be consistent with the norms of gender equality and also the right to live with the dignity. So what should be the way forward? Yes, this is very important for an aspirant. So, leaders of religious groups and political parties should rise above all the differences, especially the political differences, and support implementation of the UCC, which was one of the mandate of the DPSP itself. So, they should contribute to making it an instrument of social reform, a legislative framework fully aligned with the principle of justice and equity underscored by the Constitution. If any kind of they have some kind of remarks or anything, we can have a constructive debate or enlightened debate, and from there we'll be able to come up to a consensus or a solution. So it will be yet another step, a very significant one towards building a new inclusive egalitarian India that we all want. So this is how the author also giving the way forward. So dear friends, it is very, very important for us to have a very a diplomatic attitude towards very sensitive subjects like Uniform Civil Code. It is a very probable questions in the coming mains also. Then moving on to the next topic. India and US Navies participated in Salvage and Explosive Ordnance Disposal or EOD exercise to boost interoperability. So here it is a very much factual kind of an information which is important for the prelims point of view. So 7th edition of Indian Navy US Navy Salvage and Explosive Ordnance Disposal called as the EOD exercise Salvex was conducted from 26th to 6th July and focused on boosting interoperability and operational coordination. And both navies are participating in this exercise since 2005. Frontline warship and specialist diving and EOD teams took part in this exercise. And diving team of both the countries shared experience on maritime salvage and trained together in various facets of EOD operations on land as well as in sea. And the exercise was conducted to enhance cohesiveness and share best practices in maritime salvage and also in EOD report. Moving on to the next topic, World Investment Report of 2023. So let us see the news. The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development called as UNCTAD published its first investment report 2023. So who publishes World Investment Report? United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. So let us see the key findings. So India and ASEAN were the most buoyant recipients of the FDI with increase of 10 and 5% respectively. It is a key highlight of the report. And FDI inflows were higher in developing countries compared with those in the developed countries. And China, the second largest FDI host country in the world, saw a 5% increase. And FDI in the Gulf region declined, but the number of project announcements increased by 2/3. And inflows in many smaller developing countries were stagnant, and FDI to the least developing countries were also declined. So much of the growth in the international investment in renewable energy has been concentrated in developed countries, especially that of India, and the investment gap across all sectors of sustainable development goals has also increased as per the data. The large gaps are in energy, water and transport infrastructure, wherein much more foreign direct investment have to happen. United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. Let us see more about this institution. It is a permanent intergovernmental body established by the UN General Assembly in 1974 and also responsible for dealing with developmental issues, particularly international trade. And not only that, it also frames policies in various domains such as trade, technology, finance, aid and transport, and are the most important priorities of the UNCTAD. Moving on to the next topic, GMAX 2023, which is a naval exercise hosting by the bilateral Japan-India maritime exercise, which takes place at Visakhapatnam. Indian Navy is hosting that. GMAX 2023 edition marks the 11th anniversary of this exercise's inception from 2012, and this exercise will witness a participation of INS Delhi, INS Kamorta, fleet tanker INS Shakti, submarine, maritime patrol aircraft P-81 and Dornier, ship-borne helicopters and fighter aircraft. So this exercise will be conducted over 6 days in 2 phases, and just understand that a harbour phase at Visakhapatnam comprising professional sports and social interactions will take place, and 2 navies will jointly hone their warfighting skills at sea and enhance their interoperability through complex multidiscipline operations in the surface, subsurface and air domains. So GMAX 23 provides an opportunity to learn from each other's best practices, and also it will facilitate operational interaction between between 2 different countries, and also share between Indian Navy as well as the Navy from the Naval Force from the Japan. And and also it will reaffirm their shared commitment towards maritime security in that particular region. Moving on to the question of the day. So exercise GMAX 2023 is a bilateral naval exercise conducted between 2 countries. Which are they? India and Japan, India and Russia, India and United States, India and France. Yes, everyone knew the answer. Do the comment the right answer in the comment section below. Moving on to the winding up session. So unless and until we meet next time, this is Prince J signing off. Thank you so much.